Well, thank you for giving me a little bit of time. You know, being that he's an Omega, it so happens. But being an Alpha, I gotta get it right. So, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know how I really did. My background came from actually legacy. My dad was Alpha as well. All family Alphas. But when I went to school, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to make video games. It's like, yo, I want to do games, I want to do games, I want to do games. And no one knew anything about gaming. I had no one to help me. Yeah. But I still remember back in '95, I was the kid in class that was writing papers about how Nintendo and Sony came together, you know, and I still remember 1995 is when actually the PlayStation came out. Mm-hmm. I remember getting my Dreamcast, which had Peter Moore with the launch with $99.99 when I was in college riding my bike to get my Dreamcast. So I've been a gamer from the beginning, to the point that I've been on panels with Nolan Bushnell. Anyone know who that is? Quick clue, he's my man. They said lightning only strike twice to a few people. He made Chuck E. Cheese. But that's not what he's really known for, because that's the guy who founded Atari.
Oh, yeah.
2 times, remember lightning. And so the thing that was ill about it, I'm like, this is one of my idols. I'm always been a kid nerd. I'm up there speaking on the panel, talking about gaming from the beginning. I use audio, I use video. And he was like, oh man, you know your stuff. I was like, word? Okay, word, I got this. From that point, I've met Shigeru Miyamoto, Reggie Fils. I've been around going to the E3 multiple times, and that's how I got to meet my guy, the owner of Teddy Blaze, at different E3 conferences. I've been to Vegas before because I was co-owner of an esports team. So I've been out here. We had the #1 team for Arena of Valor in the Western Hemisphere. The squad had to go down to Australia. They defended it, got another 25 stacks. Then they had to go to Thailand, got a butt served to us, but that's a different platform. But when I'm not working on esports stuff, I'm also lecturing. I'm a founding teacher of a school in Chicago called Chicago Quest. I've worked with Google. There you go, you got one there. With Dr. Pinkert and them. People that went through their program would be like Chance the Rapper came through there working on his poetry. Yeah. And so, you know, it's a whole plethora of things that I've done. But it's not even about me because everything I've done has been about the people. Even when I was lecturing in China, I got my students jobs at Ubisoft. How? Wait, what? I'm not a national, but I have connections because your network is your network. Exactly. And being in the gaming industry for so long, I didn't see enough of us. So I'm like, you know what? It's been cool, it's been real. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just go straight to the community, boots on the ground, because we're only here for a limited amount of time. And sometimes you want to pass it to someone and they just ain't doing it right. So I'm like, as long as I got breath, we're gonna do this right. So I started Technorganic, and I have an esports platform. I make games, I change games, and that's kind of look at that as like my past life in a sense. But I moved down. I came from Chicago, and I came down to Atlanta, and I met my man. You know he's Omega. I still work with him. And I was telling him about some of the stuff that I do. And he was like, really? Because with COVID, it messed a lot of us up. But unfortunately, I'm a forever learner. You know, when you're working with, you know, Microsoft, Google, and different people, yes, education is cool, but it's not for everyone. Because a lot of the students that I work with, I taught drone technology, I taught robotics. I worked in this community, they had everything given to them. They didn't care about it. I went to the other community, they knew that they had a limited amount of time to really work with the stuff. What did they do? They made that stuff work. They made it happen. They engineered stuff so much better. I'm like, word? If they had access to the equipment, to the knowledge, to the understanding, imagine what they could do to the rest of their community. Because it's not even about what we're just that drop that makes that bucket ripple. The whole thing is going to be, oh, but what about that bucket? If you shaking that bucket and you walking, it's dropping water elsewhere. What happens is you got more flowers being produced, birds get something to eat. Everything that we do is going to impact other people. So that's why I stopped thinking about myself and start to pour all that knowledge and experience into my community and my people.
All right.
So going over to this real quick, I know we're going to wrap this up. Because unfortunately, the Omega took all that time.
While you put this up, and see, you gotta understand from the Alpha to the Omega, we got it all covered from A to Z. So we want to make sure that what you are seeing is things that we're having also young people working on as well. Because again, you Darrell talked about the application side of things. We do all these things and teach this, that, and the other, but we have to apply it. They need a portfolio that shows these different things that they do and they work on, and they will go to get internships and things like that. Because I have 2 young ladies, as a matter of fact. Does everybody know Prospects?
Say again?
So maybe y'all probably know. Well, y'all got the MGM, y'all got all the different books, but again, online gambling is something. Gambling is becoming more and more.
They don't use the term gambling.
I'm sorry, I know it was I'm planning on making wages online. It's something that Prospect does, but it also wanted to do it for the gaming community, things of this nature. But they're a business, they're good at what they do. What they weren't good at was social media. So 2 of my young ladies at Morris Rock College on my gaming team that are awesome at social media, I hooked them 2 together. Nice. So with the training that I gave them already, they're creating Prospect's social media campaign that's going to roll out at the beginning of the year. And then that's going to turn into a job for them, and then a career, because I'm always telling them, maintain your IP. Somebody talked about that already. Maintain your, because she came and she's like, Coach E, if I do this, they're just going to take it from me. I said, no, they're not. Because if they do, it's not going to work. But your paperwork has to be right. And so there's other things that we need to do. So go ahead.
Pretty much, the short of it is that technological content creation firm. Technology is always changing. We heard about AI, we heard about chatbots, we heard about it. We have to keep moving with it. If we stop, it's going to pass us by. And with your network, I bring in different people all the time to talk to the students that I work with. All types of designers. Move forward. The key areas that I kind of really covered deals with VR experiences, game development, esports, and consulting, because it's a library. Give it back. These are the fields that I love. There's a lot of passion. And energy begets energy. You pour that energy into someone, they're going to start to move like that too. I'm talking about what I believe, because, I don't know how old school you guys are, but KRS-One was one of my peoples. Yeah. And he had this line, since I was a kid, he said, edutainment. I was like, what? What's that? That's not education. That's not entertainment. But he put those 2 together and made edutainment. And so I can go into a whole thing about how when I design game design, I still use the principles, like 4 pillars of hip hop. So we go into breakdancing, we go into the lyric, go into the beats, go into the rap, because that's your art. You got your code, you got your movement. Come on, and a presentation. So, yeah, I get animated. So, techno or technorganic is more than just a good beat. We deal with tournaments, we got events, we got community, helping navigate and organize. Because if you don't organize, we'll be scattered. We all know that. And that's how it's designed to keep us apart. Oh, they don't know this, they don't know this. But when you come together and do these tournaments, what's that old phrase? Their ice water is colder than whose? Yours. But then when you actually go to school and think about it, how's ice water going to be colder than ice water? But because when you fall for that lie, you're willing to fall for anything. So, during the pandemic, I'm a nerd. I'm sorry. It is what it is. So I made a game about blowing up COVIDs. Yeah, I did. You got your shots and everything. So COVID has been running rampant through the hospitals and all this other stuff. And to answer one of your questions, he was like, will they steal your IPs and stuff? Actually, last year is the anniversary of Rockin' with Darrell. I was Alabama working with kids, showing them the game that I meant. And then the kids like, who made this? Surprise! And I did. I used my passion, I used my knowledge, I used that understanding to give something back because people are scared of getting the jab. But now you got a narrative. If we can control our narrative, imagine what we can actually let other people understand about us.
That's good, that's good.
And so this is working in different schools. I tested it, multiple communities. Kids are trying to like, what? This is a project I did with PCX. They was like, man, we have a whole tournament with this. Look at how we bring it back to esports tournament. The kids knew about the science teacher. You have this color puzzle matching game that allows you to use the right version of the inoculation for that strain of the virus.
That's good.
And then you also have a white blood cell that kind of covers it because the white blood cell does what? It helps the antibodies. And so now the kids are like, yo, school can be fun. It could, but we don't update our education. We don't work along with it. We don't use technology. We do not keep our stuff content relevant. So, unfortunately, a lot of schools didn't like it because it is what it is. As I said earlier, I love hip hop. So what I did, I was at the VR, actually down in Atlanta for the 50th anniversary. They was giving flowers to some of the artists down there. I'm from Chicago. I love East Coast, but I learned so much. And so what I did, I created a VR hip hop museum. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, why not? Because if we can archive our stories and give them, now we have it that all of them can actually go on, put it in there. I made it so you don't have to use controllers. Use your hand tracking. Go in. You got holograms. You got whole collage. These kids were like, what? Even the artists were like, what? And so this was when Lil Scrappy down in Atlanta was getting his award. And he was like, for real, this is really hot. I was like, thanks, bro. So he went and hopped in. He couldn't believe to see his stuff. He's like, I had no idea. I can see my IP, my creation, my passion inside virtual reality. And now everyone else can do this. Why not? Who said? He was looking at his own video inside there. Anyone that put it on, look at you, like, oh, yeah, it's like that. And we can do that with anything. It can go for different music genres, any type of curriculum. It's all how you want to execute. We can do anything. You never limit your creativity. You never limit your ability.
That's right, yes.
So, I got more stuff that I do, but I'm gonna keep zooming through because we got a whole eSport platform. This will take you to technorganic.app. So instead of going to like Smash GG and you want to put together your whole tournaments, like I want to do esports, we got you. You can communicate, customize, and once again, owned by Black man. So you got esports signups with this one. When I talk to a lot of students, and Coach E was talking about the two, exhibition, the draft, and the seasons, how I broke it down. Because you start off, get them excited, bring them into the season, and then we have our playoffs. But then what I started to change with it because we were dealing with COVID, everyone was like, oh, we want to go to the metaverse. Well, there's more than just the metaverse. What if we actually had the tournaments and the spectating inside the same area? I'm not talking about that event with, your boy Bro Jones, and it didn't look too good. The first metaverse boxing match. It was. It could have been better. But this season is how we put together our curriculum for the kids to learn how to do it. Because now we got the kids to become the owners because they got their friends, they do the marketing, they got the IG page, they got the TikTok, and now because if they can go to like, excuse me, sir, would you like to buy some candy to help, like with some jerseys? Why don't they do this? Because the money that they're raising goes to the pot, it goes back to them. They see the value, they see the understanding. Now they're learning management. All this stuff working off of their passion. So we work with owners, general managers, coaches, players, and media. Now the kids are starting to see that there's jobs.
Yes. Good.
But that's only one side. But what about those who want to create this stuff? So, being that I'm a creator, yeah, education, we work with it. Businesses, work with them. And indie development. Because you gotta build. The other week, one of my guys just released a new song called Like That. And it was featuring T-Pain. And I was like, bro, check this out. I want to do you a solid. He's like, what's that? I was like, I remember you did your other TikTok joint, it was dope. But being that I'm a designer, I created a word. You trying to do me like that? Like, we gotta go fast. So we got this, and I put his music inside of Fortnite.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, what? So when his music was launched, well, I didn't know there was gonna be kids in here, so I'm trying to kill them. But, so the arena that you're seeing right there going on is actually designed by me. I bring in IP, so when people are playing and doing their tournament, you're seeing local businesses being represented inside the game. Oh, yeah. We just took it from global to local to build it back global. So, and then I snapped on this one before my battery died on this, unless we have power. So I'm talking to some kids. I love hip hop. So this one you actually go on IG and find it if you want. But I'm out there, you know, there's some older heads, and they're like, man, but what else can you do with this? I'm like, how many of y'all remember the whole joint that happened with Travis Scott?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we can make that too. So now think about the different artists that you love. You can do concerts for them. You can actually have demonstrations, presentations, all inside Fortnite, because remember, these islands have 100 people in their server. And if it's a recording, that's a class setting for each and every one. And you can have devices that allows you with different conditions. Oh, I learned this, I figured out this, now I can go to the next level. Gamification, my friend. I've been teaching it for over a decade. So, yes, there's been a lot of information. I know it's a lot. We will be there tomorrow doing a lot of stuff. So, once again, this is me playing around with prompts. I didn't like put it in the images because, remember, lyrics are lyrics. Prompt engineering is nothing more than being a wordsmith. And if you know how to rhyme, and you know how to construct, and you know how to kick it, okay, I need eyebrows, I need this, I need freckles, I need this. I'm building my rhyme in a sense as a prompt, and then engineer, and it actually created something like this. I made one of my brothers, he couldn't believe it.
So listen, real quick,